Imagine this. It's 1929 and you are a photographer and journalist for a newspaper in New York. You're gearing up for the annual Easter Sunday parade, getting ready to take pictures and write stories for some of the biggest names in the city. You're snapping shots, you see some models, you see the mayor, you see some actors, and you see some businessmen. Nothing out of the ordinary for the most part. In between shots you marvel at the showmanship of the parade. It's a real spectacle. As you're taking shots of the parade members, your journalist buddies start buzzing about something that is about to take place. With great curiosity you squeeze your way through to hear what all the fuss is about. Someone's yelling about cigarettes and someone's ranting about women. You lean into one of the journalists and you ask him why everyone was so excited. He tells you that within minutes, a group of highly respected female models were going to walk by and in unison light up cigarettes. And so with great haste, you along with the dozens of other journalists bustle to the curb to get prime seats for when they come by. After a few minutes, as ominous as a murder of crows, a group of the most beautiful women you have ever laid eyes upon appeared mysteriously strutting in the midst of the parade. As the women approached you and your mess of journalists, as if they were instructed, stop promptly in view of the cameras. As every camera pointed towards them, and as the journalists were frantically scribbling down their thoughts, the group of models, as mysteriously as they arrived, lit their cigarettes and continued their march. The headline eventually became, "An Ancient Prejudice Has Been Removed." This became known as the Torches of Freedom campaign, the result of the combined brain power of a few highly intelligent pioneers of the public relations industry as we know it. What was the significance of this gesture? Well, not only did it destroy the prejudice that women weren't able and allowed to smoke, it was also one of the first cases of using psychology as a means of public relations and advertising. Up until 1929, there was a taboo surrounding women smoking. In fact, they were unable to learn how to properly smoke. A hotel manager was quoted saying that women don't really know what to do with the smoke. Neither do they know how to hold their cigarettes properly. Actually, they make a mess of the whole performance. So now imagine this. You're a woman living a man's world. You'd like to be able to smoke because you see all men doing it and they enjoy it. But you are constantly being told that you don't know how and you are unable to participate. In the back of your mind, you know you want to smoke, and you see all these free men smoking, but you are nervous of the shame, and scared of the ridicule you will receive. This is where those highly intelligent few come in. The American Tobacco Company, then captained by George Washington Hill, realized that women were an untapped market and a gold mine in our front yard. Hill knew they wanted to smoke, and that he wanted to sell them cigarettes, but did not know how to end the stigma. Enter the equation, Edward Bernays. Bernays was the nephew of world-renowned psychologist, Sigmund Freud, and is one of the most unheard of yet incredibly famous and influential men in the 20th century. Early on in his public relations career, he was tasked with the culture-shifting idea of getting women to start smoking. An idea that would open up a billion-dollar industry that is held shut by a sole prejudice. His first step was finding out why women would want to smoke. What would drive them to cigarettes? He took a visit to psychoanalyst A.A. Brills, who told Bernays that women's smoking is a natural tendency due to their oral fixation. For a hefty fee, Brills stated that to a woman, the cigarette represented the penis, and that by lighting a cigarette, a woman felt as thought she had her own penis and was thus equal to a man. He is quoted saying cigarettes, which are equated with men, become torches of freedom. So Bernays set out to give women their freedom by opening up the cigarette market. In the days leading up to the aforementioned Easter Sunday parade of 1929, Bernays paid several of the most recognized models to walk in the parade and light up cigarettes in front of the media. This was a major news headline not only because women were only permitted to smoke from the confines of their homes, but also because the subjects of the campaign were some of the most beautiful and well-known women in the country. Among the journalists who were caught up in the frenzy of the act, were a few familiar faces to Bernays. He handpicked his own photographers so that they could get the best possible pictures and angles of the monumental lighting of the torches of freedom. As word got out about the event, a well-known feminist, Ruth Hale, called for women across the country to join the march. She urged women to get out in the streets and was quoted as, "Women, light another torch of freedom. Fight another sex taboo." This was the beginning of the reaction that Bernays and the American Tobacco Company were hoping they would see. Word began to spread across the country like wildfire. The Women's Walk was seen as a standard-defying march for freedom. A freedom that resulted in years of higher profits and a bright future for the American Tobacco Company. Bernays' publicity stunt was a roaring success. Everyone across the country was talking about it, and women were finally becoming more comfortable with being able to smoke in public. In 1923, 6 years prior to when Bernays would orchestrate the march, women only accounted for less than 5% of all cigarettes sold in the country. Now fast forward to 1929, and that percentage has skyrocketed to 12%, which, although isn't a huge jump, was just the beginning. In 1935, women accounted for 18.1% of all smokers, and then it peaked at 33.3% in 1965, and it remained there until the 1970s. It gave freedom and satisfaction to the women, and for the American Tobacco Company, it justified the ridiculously large sum that they paid Bernays. So what does this mean? How can you apply this to your business or even everyday life? Well, it really all boils down to one main point: controversy rules supreme. By creating mass controversy, Bernays was able to have all cameras and journalists focused on one thing: American Tobacco Company's Lucky Strike cigarettes. Although it was controversial, it proved to be wildly successful, as we obviously still see women enjoying cigarettes every single day, almost 100 years after the campaign. To get the word out there, do something out of the ordinary, something that will draw attention and excite the press. Do something that will make people want to promote it. Channel your inner Edward Bernays and get creative with it.